Our planet is still filled with wonders that most people have never seen. While millions of tourists flock to the same familiar destinations every year, there are still remote corners of the Earth where breathtaking landscapes remain almost forgotten, places where nature seems to have unleashed its full imagination. These can be towering cliffs rising dramatically from the ocean, massive waterfalls that shake the ground beneath them, or natural formations so strange that many people think they simply cannot exist in real life. Some look like they belong on another planet. Others are hidden deep within dense forests, high mountain ranges, or vast open seas. What makes them even more fascinating is that most of these wonders are not easy to reach. To see them, you often have to hike for hours, follow narrow trails, or venture into areas rarely touched by tourists. That very difficulty has protected them from mass tourism, preserving a raw, untouched beauty that is becoming increasingly rare. And in this video, we will explore 11 of the most incredible natural wonders and unusual formations on Earth, places so stunning they might make you question whether our planet is truly as familiar as we think. Get ready, because some of these locations look almost unreal, until you see them with your own eyes. Number 1. The color-changing mountains. There is a place on Earth where mountains seem to change color by the hour. This is not a camera effect, nor a trick of the light. It is completely real. In the Dolomites mountain range in Europe, a rare natural phenomenon known as enrosadera causes massive rock faces to glow as if they are on fire during sunrise and sunset. The rocks here contain a unique mineral called dolomite. When sunlight hits their surface, it reflects in shifting tones, ranging from soft pink to fiery orange and deep purple. For a few brief minutes, the entire mountain range can look like a vast sea of flames. Geologists have spent decades studying the precise optical mechanisms behind this phenomenon. But for the Ladin people, an ancient local community, the explanation has long been different. According to their legends, these mountains were once part of a magical kingdom, and during sunrise and sunset, the glowing light is said to be the last trace of that ancient world. Yet this beauty comes with challenges. The Via Ferrata routes here are not ordinary hiking trails. They combine vertical climbing with steel cables and suspended pathways clinging to sheer cliffs. Interestingly, many of these routes were originally built during World War I when Italian and Austro-Hungarian soldiers fought at altitudes above 3,000 meters. Even today, rusted trenches can still be found hidden among small alpine flowers. Here, poetic beauty and harsh history exist side by side. Number 2. Monasteries suspended on giant rock pillars. About 600 years ago, a group of Orthodox monks in Greece made a decision that seemed almost impossible. They believed that to be closer to God, they needed to completely separate themselves from the human world. So they chose to live atop massive rock pillars rising from the plains of Thessaly, towering formations reaching nearly 400 meters high, with near vertical walls. For most people, climbing these pillars would be unthinkable. But that was exactly why the monks believed it was the perfect place for a life of isolation. Over the following decades, they began building monasteries on top of these towering rocks. In total, 24 monasteries were constructed, perched dramatically between earth and sky. What amazes people the most is how they transported materials to the top. Everything was lifted using large baskets tied to ropes and simple pulley systems. Bricks, wood, stone, and sometimes even people. There were no safety systems, no protective equipment, only faith. The monks once said they would replace the ropes only when God willed them to break. Over time, many monasteries disappeared. Today, only 6 remain active. This place is called Meteora, which means suspended in the air. In the early morning, when mist covers the valley, the ancient monasteries slowly emerge through the clouds, like floating fortresses in the sky. A view both majestic and mystical. Number 3. The giant rock with 740 steps. In Colombia, there is a massive granite rock rising from the middle of a vast lake, as if it had fallen straight from the sky. It is known as El Peñón de Guatapé. Standing about 220 meters tall, its steep surface once made reaching the top seem impossible. But along its side are natural cracks running from the base toward the summit. Ancient locals believed these were the footprints of a giant god. In the 1950s, a group of locals looked at these cracks and came up with a bold idea. They decided to turn them into a staircase. After days of dangerous work on the vertical rock face, a stairway was completed. A total of 740 steps, zigzagging up the side of the rock like a massive staircase suspended in the air. Today, visitors from around the world come here to climb all 740 steps. But the rock is also tied to a strange dispute. Two nearby towns, Guatapé and El Peñol, both claim that the rock belongs to them. At one point, one town tried to paint its name in giant letters on the rock face. Before it was completed, residents from the other town intervened and stopped them. The conflict even turned into a physical confrontation, and the painted letters were never finished. To this day, a single incomplete letter remains on the rock, a lasting mark of a decades-long dispute. But when you stand at the top and look out over the lake, dotted with hundreds of lush green islands, most people feel the same thing. The 740 steps are absolutely worth it. Number 4. The waterfall that flows through 3 natural stone bridges. Imagine standing before a massive chasm carved into ancient limestone mountains. From above, a powerful stream of water plunges down from a height of over 250 meters. But instead of falling straight to the bottom like most waterfalls, this one does something extraordinary. It passes through 3 massive natural stone bridges, stacked one above another like gateways in the sky, before vanishing into a deep cave below. The scene looks like something out of a video game or a fantasy world created with computer graphics. But it is completely real. This is Batara Gorge Waterfall, hidden within the limestone mountains of Lebanon, one of the most unusual geological phenomena ever discovered. What's even more surprising is that it wasn't known to the world until 1952, when a French cave explorer accidentally discovered the massive chasm while surveying the region. Geologists later found that the entire underground system was formed over millions of years, as melting snow slowly dissolved the limestone, creating vast tunnels beneath the mountain. Over time, parts of the cave ceiling collapsed, leaving behind the natural stone bridges suspended in midair. Even more mysterious, the waterfall does not flow year-round. For most of the year, the gorge remains dry, just towering rock walls and the eerie echo of wind rising from the depths. But in spring, when snow begins to melt, icy water rushes down and transforms the site into a spectacular scene. Water cascades through the stone bridges and disappears into the darkness below. Standing at the edge, many people feel as though they are looking into a gateway to the underworld. Some geologists even believe the cave system beneath may stretch for kilometers, and still remains largely unexplored. Number 5. The river that disappears underground. In Guatemala, there is a place that makes almost everyone pause for a moment, trying to understand what they are seeing. From above, you'll see a series of stunning turquoise pools arranged like natural terraces. The water is so clear you can see every stone beneath the surface. These pools sit atop a limestone ridge nearly 300 meters long, resembling a natural bridge across a valley. But the most astonishing part lies beneath it. Below this stone bridge, a powerful river is flowing. The Cajaben River, one of the strongest in the region, suddenly vanishes as it plunges into a massive underground cave. It continues flowing in darkness through a vast cave system before re-emerging kilometers away. Meanwhile, above the ridge, small streams have slowly filtered through limestone over thousands of years, forming the beautiful tiered turquoise pools. This incredible place is called Samuk Champi. In the ancient Kikchi, Maya language, the name means, where the river hides beneath the stones. For the ancient Maya, this was considered a sacred place, a meeting point between the spirits of mountains and water. Today, Samuk Champi is one of the most breathtaking natural wonders in Central America. But reaching it is not easy. Visitors must travel along rough dirt roads through dense jungle, then hike up slippery trails to reach the viewpoint above. Yet when you finally stand at the top and look down at the shimmering turquoise pools stretching through the rainforest, all the exhaustion fades away. Because the view feels like a hidden paradise, lost deep within the heart of the jungle. Number 6. the 700-million-year-old mountain in the desert. In the arid Namib Desert of Africa stands a massive granite formation that has existed longer than almost anything else on Earth. This formation is known as Spitskapi. Geologists estimate that it is around 700 million years old, meaning it existed long before dinosaurs ever appeared. From a distance, Spitskapi looks like a solitary mountain rising from a vast sea of sand. But as you get closer, you begin to notice how unique its structure truly is. Enormous granite formations curve smoothly, as if sculpted by a giant artist. Stone domes, sheer cliffs, and natural rock arches create a surreal landscape in the middle of the desert. At sunrise, sunlight hits the rock faces and causes the entire mountain to change color within minutes. From cold gray, the surface gradually shifts to bright orange, then deep red like glowing embers. In that brief moment, Spitskapi appears to glow in the desert. But what makes this place truly special is not just its geology. On many of the surrounding rock surfaces, ancient rock paintings created by the San people, one of Africa's oldest cultures, have been discovered. Some of these paintings are over 4,000 years old. They depict hunting scenes, desert animals, and ancient rituals. These artworks have been preserved almost perfectly due to the extremely dry climate of the Namib Desert. At night, Spitskapi reveals a completely different kind of beauty. The sky here has almost no light pollution, allowing the Milky Way to appear clearly like a river of light stretching across the sky. Many astrophotographers travel here from around the world for a single image, a 700-million-year-old mountain standing silently beneath a sky full of stars. Number 7. The giant waterhole in the mountains of Portugal. At first glance, it looks like a man-made structure. But as you get closer, you realize you are looking at one of the strangest sights in Europe. In the Serra da Estrela Mountains of Portugal, there is a massive circular hole where water does not flow out, but disappears underground. This structure is known as Covão dos Conchos. It was originally built as part of a water system for a nearby hydroelectric plant. But over time, moss and vegetation covered the concrete walls, making it look like a giant portal leading into the earth. Water flows into the opening in a perfect spiral, creating a whirlpool that looks like something from a science fiction movie. The sound of water rushing down echoes continuously and can be heard from over 100 meters away. But what makes this place truly remarkable is not just the sight itself. It's how you get there. You have to hike nearly 8 kilometers from the village of Sabugueiro, the highest village in Portugal. At first, the path is easy, but deeper into the mountains, the ground turns muddy and slippery after rain. There are no clear signs. Only faded markings on rocks and narrow trails left by shepherds. In the past, almost no tourists came here. Only shepherds and their flocks. The wind in these mountains is strong enough to make you shiver even in July. And when you finally arrive, you realize something unsettling. There are no fences. No railings. Just a massive swirling hole right in front of you. Standing too close to the edge means risking your life for a single photo. Number 8. The legendary two-tier waterfall in the United States. There are places in the world where water doesn't just fall. It crashes down with such force that you can feel the ground tremble beneath your feet. Multnomah Falls, in the state of Oregon, is one of those places. This waterfall stands nearly 190 meters tall and is divided into 2 major tiers. Between them is an old stone bridge called Benson Bridge. This is the most famous viewpoint of the waterfall. However, during winter, the bridge is sometimes completely closed. The reason is that thick ice formed from the mist can cover the entire railing and walkway, making it extremely dangerous. Few people know that the name Multnomah comes from a Native American tribe that lived in this region for hundreds of years. According to local legend, a young princess once leapt from the top of the falls to ask the spirits to save her village from a deadly disease. The story may be a myth, but the geology here is very real. The water flows over multiple layers of basalt rock, formed by volcanic eruptions thousands of years apart. If you visit early in the morning during spring or early summer, you may witness something special. The mist from the falls mixes with the cool air, forming a dense fog that blankets the entire area. Within a radius of over 50 meters, everything becomes soaked. Even on a sunny day. The trail leading to the top has exactly 267 stone steps. On the map, it looks short. But in reality, constant moisture makes the steps slippery. Even with proper hiking shoes. The most beautiful moment usually happens at sunset. As the final sunlight passes through the tall Douglas fir trees, golden rays shine directly into the falling water. For a few brief minutes, the entire waterfall turns into a curtain of liquid light. Its colors shift constantly, from silver white to gold, then to a glowing orange before darkness takes over. Number 9. The fairy tale castle that inspired Disney. If you've ever watched Disney movies, you've probably seen a fairy tale castle with tall spires rising above the mountains. Few people realize that it was inspired by a real place. That place is Neuschwanstein, located in the Alps of Germany. From a distance, it looks like a medieval fortress straight out of a storybook, but the truth is quite different. Neuschwanstein was built in 1869, a time when many European cities were still lit by candles. The man behind it was King Ludwig II of Bavaria, a ruler known for his vivid imagination and deep love for the music of composer Wagner. He did not build this castle for defense or power. He built it as a place to escape the world. Surprisingly, the interior was extremely modern for its time. It had a central heating system, running water on every floor, even an electric bell system to summon servants. While many other palaces still relied on candles and fireplaces, Neuschwanstein already featured technology similar to modern hotels. But the story of the castle ended in mystery. Just 48 days after moving in, King Ludwig II was declared insane and removed from power. Shortly after, he was found dead in a nearby lake. To this day, the cause of his death remains unknown. Ironically, the castle he built to avoid crowds has become one of the most visited places in Europe. More than 1 million people come here every year to see this real-life fairy tale castle. Number 10. Stone pillars in the ocean. Along the southern coast of Australia, there is a place where ocean winds blow so strongly that you can barely stand upright. There, rising from the gray-blue sea, are massive stone pillars that look like ancient towers. They are known as the 12 Apostles. But the name is somewhat exaggerated. Originally, only 9 pillars were clearly visible from the shore. However, tourism promoters later decided that 12 Apostles sounded far more impressive and mysterious. And the name remained. These pillars were once part of a large cliff connected to the mainland. But over tens of thousands of years, ocean waves and wind eroded the limestone at a rate of about 2 centimeters per year. Caves gradually formed. Then they became arches. And eventually, when the arches collapsed, only isolated pillars remained standing in the ocean. This process is still ongoing. In 2005, one of the pillars suddenly collapsed within seconds. No warning. No loud noise beforehand. Just a single crash, and a massive rock formation disappeared. Geologists predict that in the coming decades, the number of remaining pillars may be cut in half. So each time you visit, the landscape may already be different from before. Number 11. The Giant Stone Road. The first time people see this place, they often have the same reaction. It looks too perfect to be created by nature. In front of you are tens of thousands of basalt columns, tightly packed together like giant blocks. Most of them are nearly perfect hexagons, forming natural steps that stretch from the cliffs down into the Atlantic Ocean. This place is known as the Giant's Causeway, one of the most famous geological wonders in the world. Scientists believe these columns were formed around 60 million years ago, when volcanic lava cooled slowly and began to contract and crack into geometric shapes. The result is over 40,000 columns, some several meters tall, standing side by side like a massive pathway leading into the sea. But the people of Ireland prefer a different story. According to legend, the causeway was built by a giant named Finn McCool. He wanted to build a stone bridge across the sea to challenge his rival in Scotland. So he began throwing massive stones into the ocean, creating a path between the two lands. But when he saw how enormous his opponent was, Finn became afraid. His wife came up with a clever plan. She disguised him as a baby. When the Scottish giant arrived and saw the child, he was terrified. If the baby was that large, the father must be far more powerful. So he fled, destroying the bridge behind him so no one could follow. Today, as you stand on these columns, the wind from the Atlantic blows through the gaps, and waves continuously crash against the shore. The surface is often covered in moss and sea salt, making it far more slippery than it appears. In one area, a group of uneven columns is known as the giant's organ. When wind passes through the narrow gaps, it produces deep, resonant sounds. Not quite music, but not complete silence either. Just a strange echo between sea and stone, making many feel as though they are standing among the ruins of an ancient structure, accidentally created by nature. After seeing all these places, you may realize something fascinating. Our world is far larger and more mysterious than what we usually see on maps or in travel books. There are still countless strange landscapes, nearly unexplored regions, and stories that nature has been quietly writing for millions of years. And today's list is only a very small part of it. Somewhere on this planet, there are still mountains that few have ever climbed, vast caves waiting to be explored, and places that look like they belong to another world. So if you enjoy journeys like this, stay tuned. Because in the next videos, we will continue exploring even stranger, more mysterious, and lesser-known places on Earth. Places that might make you wonder how many incredible secrets our world is still hiding.